Yo, man, welcome back to Knowing True Ball with your host, Brian Payne. Hey, y'all, this is a new type of episode that we're going to start doing on Sunday mornings to get us ready for the kickoff of the NFL games every Sunday. Hey, so what we're going to do is in these episodes, we're going to go over the game preview of the Thursday night football games, and then we're going to get into a betting segment. You're going to get my must-watch games, my game of the week, like I said, along with the betting segment. This is going to be a short, quick episode. This one will be a little longer than most because we had a Thursday night game and a Friday night game episode. So, hey, y'all, please stay tuned and continue watching this every Sunday morning. So let's go ahead and kick it off and get it started with the Thursday night game. The Super Bowl champion, Kansas City Chiefs, going against the Baltimore Ravens. Hey, man, this was must-see TV, and it ended up being a great game. Now, your boy, I picked the Kansas City Chiefs to cover the spread and win by 3 points. They was giving Baltimore 3. They end up winning 27-20 as the final score. Now, as the game review of this specific game, the Chiefs offense is back. The Chiefs offense, since Tyreek Hill left, is now finally back. We finally have it. Now, Xavier Worthy will never be used the same way that Tyreek Hill was. Tyreek Hill is a special player. He is not just a fast guy. Tyreek Hill is an extraordinary athlete. He's one of these freak aliens I like to talk about. But what Xavier Worthy can do is a lot of the same things that we saw Deshaun Jackson do in the Andy Reid offense back in the day with Donovan McNabb and Michael Vick. Xavier Worthy came out. He got his first touch on the reverse handoff, took it to the crib. He provided them with a great deal of explosiveness that they did not have before. And then when you add in his other second touchdown that came later in the game off of a broken coverage between Marlon Humphrey and the safety of the Ravens, once he got that ball, he was able to scoot and get up and get out of there. Sorry, you guys, there's a gnat in my room. That's why you saw the click flinch to try to get it. But yes, that's what that allows to happen. Now, also from the Chiefs' offensive standpoint, we've seen Isaiah Pacheco and the offensive line try to control the line of scrimmage. But what they did was they got real quality runs. We saw Rashee Rice showcase that he may be in the new position that Travis Kelce used to be in. The guy that moves the chains, that keeps the chains moving every single play. Travis Kelce wasn't heavily featured in this game. He was used a lot as a decoy. I do think that would dwindle down. I think that was very much a scheme decision for this game. Y'all got to remember, Travis Kelce and Kyle Hamilton went at it in that playoff game, and which Travis Kelce handled his business and did his thing. Kyle Hamilton, he didn't play awful, but Travis Kelce showed why he was a Hall of Famer in that game. So they dedicated a lot of their defense to boxing Travis Kelce and making these other weapons showcase what they could do. Now, Isaiah Pacheco and Juju Smith-Schuster, unfortunately, they showed the Chiefs could still drop some footballs. Man, Isaiah Pacheco going on that wheel route, man, that was an easy touchdown. Patrick Mahomes put that in the perfect place. But this is why some of these guys play running back and not wide receiver. He made Isaiah Pacheco have to stretch his arms out, and guys that play running back are not used to having to do that. And when they have to play with their hands instead of with their bodies, they tend to drop footballs. And then Juju Smith-Schuster, I'm not going to hold his feet to the fire too much on that one. That was a perfectly placed ball by Patrick Mahomes. Juju went up there and got it. It was just a tough grab, man. He got it. He brought it down. But when he hit the ground, the ball popped loose. Hey, man, that's part of the game. So I ain't going to hold him too far to that. But what I will tell you is that the spacing was tremendous. The flow of the offense made plenty of sense. And that offense is going to continue getting better week in, week out. We may have just witnessed the best offense in football for this upcoming season. Now flipping over to the Kansas City Chiefs defense. The defense played spectacular. Spectacular. Because see, what you really got to realize is that the Baltimore Ravens, in terms of flow of the game, feel of the game, they really only scored one touchdown. Yes, I know Lamar Jackson got that pass off to Isaiah Likely, in which Isaiah Likely scored a touchdown on. That was a freak play, and that was a great play by Lamar and Isaiah. But in terms of the scheme and the situational football and things of that matter, the Kansas City Chiefs played flawlessly defensively, and they did accomplish everything that they wanted to accomplish. and I love what I saw from them. You did not see them give up big plays on the back end. They got to get better on third down. But once again, they're playing against Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray, Josh Allen, Anthony Richardson, Jalen Hurts, those guys present something different on third down than what you're going to see most weeks. Justin Fields as well. These are guys that can throw the ball down the field on the 3rd and 8, but they can also just take off and run and convert those things. So it's a lot harder to stop them on third down. At the end of the day, the Chiefs, though, got to get better at stopping them on third down. You did all the work. You got to close out the drive. But the Chiefs played a great game defensively as well. Flipping over now to the Baltimore Ravens offense. The first drive of the Baltimore Ravens, outside of all the penalties, of course, I thought was flawless. I thought that they played very, very well. They ran the ball accordingly. They got the ball to Zay Flowers, and they did the things that they needed to do. And when you saw Derrick Henry be able to get 4 or 5 steps to get past that first level, you saw Derrick Henry still have a little bit of juice in there to go ahead and pound the ball, get a touchdown, and things of that nature. Now, the biggest issue that I saw in this game from the Baltimore Ravens is the same thing that I talked about before in our preview episode, is that it's a different offense now. It's a different offense. And with that being the case, Derrick Henry, he's not used to running inside zone, outside zone, out of the shotgun package. It's a different look. It's a lot more twitchy, in which that's not Derrick Henry's game. Derrick Henry is a power game. I think that the Baltimore Ravens are going to have to go back to kind of living in the pistol personnel. That will be the happy median for Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. Those of you that do not understand what the pistol formation is, that's when your quarterback is kind of lined up like a shotgun situation, but instead of the running back being to the quarterback's right or left, the running back is now directly behind the quarterback. What that will allow Derrick Henry to do is that when Lamar hands him the ball left or to the right, when he gives it to him, Derrick Henry now can see the entire line of scrimmage. He can now pick his hole. When you're going from right to left, he's only going left, and he can only pick a hole that way. To fully utilize him, that's what they got to get to doing. And also, they got to find a way to get him involved somehow, some way in the passing game. You do not want to get in a situation where every single time that you take Derrick Henry out, the opposing team knows that it's a pass. But Lamar Jackson did a fantastic job scrambling. Now, the issue was, and my biggest flaw with Lamar Jackson in this game, was at the end of the game on that last drive when we saw him miss the touchdown pass to Isaiah Likely, saw him miss the next touchdown pass to Zay Flowers, and then saw him miss the final touchdown pass once again to Isaiah Likely. It was because of his offensive line was not holding up. Now, let me explain why this is a problem for Lamar Jackson. It became a problem for him because he started looking to scramble. He started looking at the line of scrimmage to try to find a hole to figure out if he wants to run or pass. He was not scrambling to pass. He was scrambling to survive. That's why he missed Isaiah Likely wide open for a touchdown. That's why he didn't see Zay Flowers. If you listen to his post-game interview, he claims that he was throwing the ball to Rashid Bateman. He was not throwing to Zay Flowers. Which, even if he was throwing to Bateman, it was nowhere close to blood. Nowhere close to him. But the issue was that he was so busy worrying about scrambling that instead of just sliding in the pocket and trusting his offensive line, he threw an errored pass. Now, the final pass to Isaiah Likely, perfectly passed, perfectly placed, dime dropper. Isaiah goes up, make a huge play. It's just unfortunate, man. His toe was on the line. He was out of bounds. It's part of the rules, man. It sucks. But, hey, man, that was that game. Defensively for the Baltimore Ravens, I thought that they played as well as they could. They played well enough to give their offense a shot, even when the offense was stalling. So, with that being the case, I think Baltimore Ravens defense will be just fine as the season goes on. I think their offensive line will get better as the season goes on. Derrick Henry will find a better flow as the season goes on, and they will be the second best team in the AFC by the end of the season. By week 5, this team is going to be rocking and rolling. And y'all, there's going to be a show to watch. But, hey, man, this was a great football game. Once again, the final score is 27-20, Kansas City. Moving on now to the Green Bay Packers at the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, this game was actually played in Brazil, in which we saw Philadelphia win this game 34-29. I would have picked Green Bay with the points, but obviously I would have been wrong this time. Looking at the Green Bay point first. Green Bay's defense played okay. The major thing I will say that I noticed with their defense is that Jair Alexander is no longer a shutdown corner. He is a quality corner. He's a good corner to have on your roster. But kind of like Darius Slay, they are not what they once were. So with that being the case, he's a guy that is no longer shutting down that right side, which now means that if you put him in man-to-man coverage straight up with a guy like AJ Brown will get loose. If you covered, but now what that does for your team when you're paying a corner like that, now you got to rotate guys over. Your opposite corner should be weaker than your star. And with that being the case, it's hard to help him. So that's going to be something that they're going to have to figure out as the season goes on with that defense. Offensively, they were not in rhythm, man. They were not in rhythm. You could tell that was an offense that did not play a lot of preseason. And with that being the case, you saw a lot of penalties. A lot of their yards getting turned back around. Josh Jacobs, you could tell he's also not used to running out of the shotgun. A lot like Derrick Henry, he did a lot of his work out of single back formations and power I formations. Now, I think they're going to have to get to that to truly unlock him. He did a whole lot of tap dancing at the line of scrimmage when he got to the line once he got that handoff in shotgun formations. Formations that when he broke loose, he tended to be in single back when he broke loose. So I imagine Matt LaFleur getting back to some single back action. Matt LaFleur did come from Tennessee when Derrick Henry was there, so he does understand how to utilize that type of offense. My issue with Jordan Love in this game was that he is a little too cocky with his arm for me right now. With his arm. And what I mean by that is there's a lot of times where he was throwing off his back foot or off platform where his feet are not on the ground, just like he was doing in the midway point of last season when he was not playing good football. When he was playing good football again, he was trusting his feet and letting his feet get the ball to his wide receivers. And to this game, he was not doing that. Now, the bright spot is Jaden Reed showed that he really may be the wide receiver one of that team. And I think that's a great thing. I think he could do both. Go deep routes, go short routes. He could be your chain mover. I think he really is a good option at their number one wide receiver. Romeo Doubs serves a great role, and Christian Watson serves a great role as well. So with this team, as the season goes on, I expect those things to get cleaned up a little bit. Unfortunately, Jordan Love got hurt. And when I watch that tape, it looks like it's probably a torn ACL, torn MCL. I'm hoping not, because I was really looking forward to seeing them play in Green Bay take another step this year. But that was not pretty. If you go back and watch it, you'll see a ligament pop in his knee. A lot like it looked when Aaron Rodgers tore his Achilles last year when you watched that ligament pop in his from his Achilles. So we'll see what that does for them. But those are the big things I think Green Bay need to worry about. Obviously, ultimately, they need to worry about the health of their quarterback, Jordan Love. Moving on now to the Philadelphia Eagles. The Philadelphia Eagles, honestly, defensively, I thought they were okay. They were okay defensively. They did better than what I thought they would. So actually, I would give them a thumbs up on that. I thought the rookies would have a harder time with those Green Bay wide receivers than what they actually did. Jalen Carter still proved to be a menace. Jordan Davis proving to be a menace and stopping the run game. Offensively, the offensive line for the Eagles held up pretty solid. As we all anticipated, they still have a very strong offensive line. Saquon Barkley showed that he's a star. He showed that I am Saquon Barkley. And y'all used to say I could be the next Christian McCaffrey, and guess what? I am. And then I personally think they should go and revert to a lot of what the San Francisco 49ers do with Christian McCaffrey. Let Barkley run this offense. Because when you did put the ball in Jalen Hurts' hands, he ended up throwing two touchdowns. He threw a wheel route to Saquon. So let's take that out for a second because Saquon had nothing. Because that play was made with Saquon Barkley, which was a dime by Jalen Hurts. But let's take that play out. That means Jalen Hurts went one touchdown, two picks, two fumbles in this game if Saquon Barkley was not involved. You need to slow the game down for Jalen Hurts. He had a lot of bad reads. When you saw him do the read option, there was a lot of times that he kept that ball when he should have just gave it to Saquon. Too many times I saw Jalen Hurts trying to make hero plays. These are things that cannot happen. When you play against a team that would capitalize on those plays, they would have got smoked. And they should have got smoked in this game. Green Bay was not scoring them points. When Jalen Hurts scored through that first interception, Green Bay was immediately in the red zone. They only got a field goal out of that. And then the next drive, when you had the bad snap by Jurgens to Jalen Hurts, whoever you want to put that fumble on, whoever. But regardless, they did fumble that ball, and Jalen Hurts allowed them to have that ball again in the red zone. Green Bay got another 3 points. Imagine that's 14-0. This is a completely different ball game. So with that being the case, man, Jalen Hurts needs to clean up those mistakes. I think that they need to simplify the offense a little bit more. I think that they need to take out some read options and just make them straight up handoffs. Allow Saquon Barkley to be the star of your offense, just like the 49ers allow Christian McCaffrey to do that. And if you do that, you will fulfill what I believe to be the best team in the NFC this year. Now, that's the end of our game previews. Like I said, once again, the final score for the Chiefs-Ravens was 27-20 Chiefs, and the final score for the Eagles-Packers, 34-29 Philadelphia Eagles. Now, moving on to our must-watch games of this week. First game I think is must-watch are the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Atlanta Falcons. This is why this is must-watch TV to me. Atlanta is the dark horse of the NFC. If you told me that they make the Super Bowl this year, I sincerely would not be shocked. With the additions that they made, they're going to have a very strong defense. And if that offense could be another replica of what Minnesota and Los Angeles was, this team is loaded. They are loaded. So I love what they're doing. And they get to start off with going against a good defense. A good defense in the Pittsburgh Steelers to test what the offense is going to be. I like Atlanta in this game. I think this is much-watch TV. The next game I think that we need to be truly paying attention to are the Houston Texans at the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts have a talented roster. We're just waiting to see what Anthony Richardson truly is. Can Anthony Richardson walk out there and go toe-to-toe with C.J. Stroud to win this football game? That's going to be a big deal. And if Houston Texans are who we think that they're going to be, they should be able to shut that down in a heartbeat. This should be a cakewalk for the Houston Texans. So that is also must-watch TV, and I can't wait to see how they utilize Stephon Diggs, Tank Dell, and Nico Collins all together in that Houston offense. Moving on now to the next game, we have the Dallas Cowboys at the Cleveland Browns. This is a big-time game. Are the Cleveland Browns what we think they're supposed to be? Between CeeDee Lamb sitting out and Dak Prescott losing offensive lineman, and then your number 2 wide receiver being Brian Cook, who didn't do anything for you last year, the Cleveland Browns should only allow maybe 13 points to the Dallas Cowboys all game. If y'all want to be that number 1 defense, this is the time. But guess what? If they allow too much more, that means you're telling me Deshaun Watson was probably trash. That's what probably happened. That means that there was some interceptions allowing Dallas to be in scoring position from the jump. So I cannot wait to watch this game. Is Dak Prescott going to earn this money? Is CeeDee Lamb going to show that he was that guy? Or the Cleveland Browns trying to show that they are for real? It's this week against the Dallas Cowboys in Cleveland. I got Cleveland winning that game. Moving on now to our next must-watch game, the Los Angeles Rams at the Detroit Lions. Another revenge game this week. We had the Kansas City Chiefs against the Baltimore Ravens. Now we got a second revenge game. Now this time Aaron Donald ain't going to be there, but Matt Stafford's going back to Detroit again. And what I think will be a top 5 offense in the Los Angeles Rams, I cannot wait to see how they show against the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions upgraded their defense. How do they do going against this Los Angeles Rams team? I am so excited for this football game. I got the Detroit Lions winning this game. And now my game of the week. Man, our game of the week is going to be the New York Jets at the San Francisco 49ers. I think this is the big game. The San Francisco 49ers, are y'all still about team or are you guys about me now? Y'all got to show us. Brandon Ayuk held out. Debo Samuel knows that this is probably going to be his last season. Brock Purdy's waiting for his payday to come. Christian McCaffrey coming off an injury. Trent Richardson held out all offseason. Dre Greenlaw still ain't back yet. What are y'all going to be? Eric Armstead is now gone. What are y'all going to be? It's time for y'all to put up or shut up and let's get it done. Going over to the New York Jets side, Aaron Rodgers, you are back. Can you play more than just 4 plays, my brother? More than 4 plays. Garrett Wilson, are you that dude? Are you that wide receiver that could be the next Devontae Adams with Aaron Rodgers? Breece Hall, Mr. No Neck himself because of them neck muscles. Hey, are you that guy? Are you that guy? You want to be the best running back in the league? You saw what Saquon did. We know what Christian McCaffrey could do. It's time for you to put up or shut up, brother. That offensive line, do your thing, handle your business. Defense, Sauce Gardner and them boys. Let's see how low y'all can hold the 49ers to. I think I'm going with the New York Jets to win this football game. And those are our games of the must-see games and our game of the week. Our bets of the week, we're going to keep it real simple, man. I'm going to give y'all four games. 3 of them I'm very sure of, and then I'll give y'all a star game where this game, it could go either way, but I'm picking on this side. I'm picking that Atlanta Falcons cover the spread of -3 against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I do not trust the Steelers offense. I don't care who the quarterback is. I think that they'll be lucky to score 6 points in this game. If they score a touchdown, I'll be shocked. Keep it a buck, to keep it real, the final score I'm looking at this game probably being 27-13 Atlanta. I think it's going to be an easy win for Atlanta. They're going to cruise into it. And, man, Atlanta's going to try to start this dark horse Super Bowl run this year. Moving on now to the Cleveland Browns. I got the Cleveland Browns covering as a -2.5 spread on the Dallas Cowboys. You got Dallas going to Cleveland, playing on the road. Cleveland, that hostile environment of the dog pound. You got a new offensive lineman for the Dallas Cowboys going against Myles Garrett, Zadarius Smith, and those boys. I think they're going to be getting after Dak Prescott. I can see this final score easily being about, I would say, 23-10, somewhere in that range. I would not be shocked. Now, going on to our next game, I got Miami covering the -3.5 point spread of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Miami, first of all, the first 4-week Tua Tagovailoa, good luck playing against him. That boy throwing 4 touchdowns guaranteed, bro. Because you know why? Because it's simply game 1. That's what they're going to do. The Jaguars defense is not that great, and the Jaguars offense I do not think could score with the Miami Dolphins. I got Miami winning this game in a blowout, and I think the blowout is going to be so big that I don't want to waste my time giving y'all a score prediction. Those are my 3 games that I think are for sure bets, for sure locks and mines that will win you this week. My final bet, my bonus bet, is the New York Jets covering a +4 against the San Francisco 49ers. Like I told you guys, I got the Jets winning this game, me personally. But if you told me that the Jets lost by only a field goal, I wouldn't be shocked. And if they lose by a field goal, guess what? You still win that week. So those are my bets of the week. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this quick episode of our game review and our previews of each of the biggest games of the week. Hopefully these bets hit. You put them in. Let me know in the comments if they hit for you. Hey, man, we're going to start working on making some money around here. Hey, man, this is Knowing True Ball with your host, Brian Payne. Peace.